Hi everyone, you're probably here because you're looking to change career. A lot of people are, and a lot of people make mistakes changing those careers. So what I'm going to do in this video is run through the 3 most common mistakes people make when changing careers and how to make sure that you don't make those same mistakes. The first one is not enough self-reflection. So some people will jump from one career straight into another career, and again, when they're in that career, they may end up being dissatisfied again with that career. Why is that? It's because they did not think actually what it is that they want, what their aspirations are, what sort of job would align with their long-term goals. Before you make that jump, you've got to sit back and think, firstly, why are you not enjoying your current job? What is it that you want to change? What is it that you aspire to do? What is it that you aspire to be? What kind of person are you really? And you might not have figured that out yet, or you might have an understanding, but actually there's some things online or in person that'll help you figure that out a little bit more. Some of those things could be starting journaling, starting to make gratitude notes, and sort of reflecting on what you're grateful for. And some of those might be online tests like the Myers-Briggs test, etc. So if you don't, for example, I know someone who very recently changed careers, and they changed into becoming a programmer from being a shop assistant. They went through one of those courses, the 6-month courses, and they got a job at the end of it successfully. So on the face of it, they made a good choice, but actually they ended up really hating the programming side of things because they hated having to sit down and look at a computer all day. Their back started to hurt. They were not enjoying it at all. They're not enjoying the soloness of a lot of computer programmers, especially working from home. You're not meeting people, you're not around people. And so they went and jumped into a job solely because of the cash, because obviously a computer programmer is going to earn a lot more than working in a shop. They use that as a primary motive. And when you're not earning a lot, that is always the primary motive. It's very understandable because it can be the only thing that you think about. Like, for example, if someone has their hand around your throat, okay, you're going to be thinking about oxygen very quickly, and that's the only thing you're going to think about. In the same way, if you have a lack of money, the only thing you're going to be thinking about is money, because that's what's going to be the pressing need for you. So that's totally understandable. However, even if that's the case, you're going to take a moment to step back, and you're going to think, actually, beyond just money, what else do I need? And that way you can sort of shape your job career switch into something that's going to be productive and not just a waste of time. And this person ultimately regretted the change that they made, and they went back to working in the shop because they just couldn't handle it, and they decided in the end to become a PT at a gym instead. So a very interesting life story there. The next big mistake is people think that they have to start from scratch. They've got to go in as an apprentice, or they've got to go in at the lowest level. And that's not true. That's not always true, because if you spend enough time preparing for the job change, it means you have enough time to upskill yourself in a lot of different ways. It could be upskilling yourself in terms of certification. It could also be thinking about the job that you're aiming for and how you can incorporate elements of that job in your current job. So when I was teaching and I wanted to move into delivery management, I incorporated elements of Agile into my teaching. And I was very successful in being able to communicate that to via my CV, via my application, and in the interview. And that's what got me the job, because I was able to show actually that I had already begun to do that job in my current job. Even though some might think teaching and delivery management, the skills are so separate, and how could I work in a school and apply Agile principles, but I managed to find a way, and that's what I did, and that's what got me the job. And a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people, that's the second mistake people make. They don't think about how they could upskill themselves. And it doesn't have to be certifications, although they do help. It could just be in terms of creating that experience and making a space to have the experience that you can then talk about via your application and within the interview, just to make yourself a little bit more of a credible candidate than someone who's just come in with an idea to change a job. Having said that, you're not always going to enter at the very top level or at a similar level to where you were in your current career, because likely you've been in your current career for quite a while and you worked your way up the ranks and you have a really good understanding of your particular area. A lot of those skills are transferable, but you shouldn't expect to move directly across into a similar level within a different career industry. You should maybe expect a bit of a step down, not all the way down, not becoming an apprenticeship, but a little bit of step down before you can shoot back up again. I had a friend who again more successfully transitioned to programming started off with much less salary than his current job or his previous job, but within a couple of years he was outperforming his previous job salary by a lot. So that worked out really well for him. So it's all about having to step one step back sometimes, and before you can leap ahead. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think they have to look for something which is going to be at the exact same salary level, because how could they sustain themselves? One of the things that you can do to sort of help yourself there is actually work out what is your expenditure. What is your absolute need of an expenditure? Let's say, I don't know, you're getting £2,500 a month as your salary, okay? And then you spend it all every month. So you're looking for another job which gives you a similar amount of pay, so you're maintaining that 2,500. What you should be doing actually is thinking about that 2,500 and thinking actually which parts of that are non-negotiable. So for example, your mortgage, your energy bills, your food bill, that's non-negotiable. Which ones of those are actually negotiable for a short period of time? So can you get rid of some subscriptions? Can you get rid of some extra expenditure? Have a think about that. And you might find actually you don't necessarily need to spend 2,500. You could spend £1,500 a month, which means that actually the job that you're looking for doesn't have to pay as much as you originally thought. Now, that might mean going with some discomfort for a few months, a couple of years maybe, but again, with your eye on the prize of the bigger picture. Like this person who went into programming, they knew that ultimately within a couple of years they would get a much higher paying position once they'd got the experience. So third mistake is being afraid to lower your salary expectations. Again, thinking about the industry you're moving into, thinking about the average salary, thinking about progression is all part of that career change. Would be great if you could comment below and add in some of the mistakes that you made. There might be interesting mistakes or variations of the mistakes I've spoken to. And also, as you know, I'm a life coach and career coach, and I can help guide you through some of these mistakes and hopefully make the journey from your current career into your ideal career as smooth as possible. All right, thanks for listening. Be sure to press like, and I'll catch you next time.